Well, in the wake of last week's bombshell report by the Department of Justice watchdog outlining that apparent bias against then-candidate Donald Trump at both the Department of Justice and the FBI during the campaign. The Trump attorney Rudy Giuliani now demanding a comprehensive investigation of Special Counsel Robert Mueller's ongoing Russia probe.
There should be a full and complete IG report and grand jury investigation of what happened here after it became the Russia probe. What was the purpose of it? What did they gather? I would really like to know what they gathered, because I think they will have gathered the same things that the Washington Post desperately is trying to regurgitate, which is no collusion by the president with any Russians.
Will there be an investigation? John Sununu joins us, former New Hampshire governor, former White House chief of staff to President George H.W. Bush. Governor, good to see you. Giuliani's request. Good morning. His request, is it a political move, do you think? Or he's a former top Justice Department official, served in the Reagan administration, number 3. He was the crime-busting U.S. attorney in New York before he was elected mayor. You think he's making this call based on what a prosecutor that he was for so long would do?
Well, I think Rudy is using the rhetoric to keep the pressure on the Mueller investigation. He knows that the ongoing IG investigation is going to look at a lot of the areas that he would like focused on. So I think it's a combination of rhetoric and making sure that he is sort of steering the IG continuing investigation to look at these issues. I don't think it is good to be calling for a new additional group to be investigating Mueller, but I think the process is in place for a review of what he's done. And
what type of review process would you recommend?
I think the IG should continue with what he's doing and extend it. Look, the most important thing that came out of what we have seen so far is we realized that Strzok was in charge of the chief operating guy under Mueller when Mueller hired the Clintonite lawyers, and I think that in itself ought to be investigated as to whether or not Strzok's involvement in that was guiding the membership of the investigating group in that direction. That is under the IG's charge, and that can be part of the next report that comes out of the IG.
And we've had more emails between Lisa Page and Strzok, especially the one saying that they would stop President Trump or Donald Trump from becoming president. And yet Horowitz concludes that there was no bias. Do you buy that?
Well, I think Horowitz had his cake and ate it, too. He gave us all the facts that allow us to draw the conclusions that there was bias, and yet in a delicate parsing of the statement suggested that there was no bias. In fact, I actually read the Horowitz statement in a slightly different way. I thought he was saying there was no political bias by Comey when he came out with his report on Mrs. Clinton. I don't think it had a direct relationship. That sentence, in my opinion, did not have a direct relationship to the Strzok-Page exchanges.
So if when Peter Strzok appears before the hearings, as he says he will testify, what question would you ask him?
I would ask him why he didn't recuse himself, because he had these internal biases. And then I would ask him what he advised Comey to do in any of the process before Comey was fired. Those are two important things that I think would indicate the level of bias in the process.
And we'll see if the senators and the congressmen do indeed ask him that. Governor John Sununu, good to see you as always. Thank you.
Thanks, Eric.
Of course.
Have a great day.